My wife Monica and I escape European winter to spend December in the South African summer and to visit her parents. We are in Johannesburg, the most populated city in the country with over 750,000 people and more than 4.5 million on the outskirts. When traveling around the city, you can see the difference between rich and poor areas, from one township to luxurious mall through an animated and trendy city market. South Africa is geographically isolated from the rest of the world, and as a result, Magic players are facing a number of challenges: the price of cards and the lack of opportunities to play on the big scene, just to name a few. I was invited by Keraan Chetty, a Magic player from Johannesburg, for a Thursday night Drapht at Grand Life Cafe in the Mall of Africa. The restaurant is owned by a Magic player and regularly hosts this kind of events.
So my name's Keraan Chetty, Magic player from South Africa. Been playing since 2000, I guess. So tonight we are having it's a vintage cube, very similar to the Magic Online cube from, I think it was the last holiday season, with a few minor changes. So since it's the holidays, we're drafting just about every week because, well, you know, a lot less pressure at work and so forth, so people can come in. So yeah, a nice cube draft tonight.
Hi guys, my name is Richard. Been playing Magic for about 14 years.
My name is Steve Gerson. I've been playing Magic since 1995, so it's at 21, 22 years now.
I'm Jason Ward. I've been playing Magic for on and off many years. I played casually when I was in high school, university, but I started taking the game very seriously about 4 years ago. When I picked it up after I started working, and yeah, since then I can't stop. Like, I love the game so much. I play every single week.
So the South African community, look, because of our geographical isolation from the rest of the Magic world, there is a community. It's widely spread, but South Africa in terms of landmass is fairly large. So it's spread across the three major cities in South Africa, being Johannesburg and Pretoria, I guess, as one, and then Cape Town and Durban. So there's plenty of little stores all over the country.
We've got a very vibrant community. Everybody cooperates quite nicely. They help each other out. When we need to travel for events, people are very willing to put each other up and share travel and that sort of thing.
Down here in the middle, the bottom end of Africa, South Africa, we're far from everything. So the closest is Europe. That's an 8 to 10 hour flight. With our rand not being the most favorable with other currencies, it's very expensive for South Africans. So it does make it a lot more difficult for us to get that international experience.
So we have a problem with card availability in South Africa. There's multiple online stores, but in terms of singles, it's quite difficult to find an entire deck. You know, you have to look across websites. If there's a chase rare, for example, in the set, so let's say Grim Player. If you want a set of Grim Player, it's really difficult to just go and say I want 4 of a card. So, you know, for example, the World Magic Cup qualifiers this year, I wasn't playing standard, I needed a deck, and I literally could not go to a store in South Africa and buy a deck and say, give me this blue, whatever deck it was at the time. So that's one of the unique things that we have here, and it's partly due to the exchange rate. Our exchange rate in South Africa is a little volatile at times, you know, so in the since 2007, against the dollar, we've sort of, went up 100%, where it was 7 to 1 for a dollar to rand. Now it's 14 to 1. So that impacts card prices without inflation at all. So those are some of the things that sort of hinder availability in South Africa, which I guess it's quite ironic. The rest of the world doesn't have those problems here.
The cost of decks in South Africa is quite prohibitive. The cost of singles, a very high exchange rate. There's only a certain amount of value that one can derive when opening singles. So it's difficult for shops, especially when there's several competing, to open too much sealed product, because after the first few boxes, you've sold those singles and you've saturated the demand, and so the supply is very limited. Often, what Keraan mentioned as well, you can't buy a deck for love of money, even if you're prepared to fork out $1,000 for a deck. The supply is just not available because the stores are only opening a certain amount of sealed product. We used to send at least one player overseas to play on the Pro Tour every year, and that gave us a little bit of a chance to represent and give more players a taste for bigger, more competitive events, and come back and share those skills and that learning with the player base and help us to improve. And unfortunately, we're one of the minorities where we fall through the cracks, and the new PPTQ structure is very difficult for us, because instead of winning a ticket for one event, you now have to not only win an event outright in your hometown, but you still have to then fly to another country at great expense. You may as well play a Grand Prix, for argument's sake. And then you still need to come top 8 to get a spot on the Pro Tour. The best avenue for us is actually to play Magic Online and use that to qualify for an RPTQ online via a local PPTQ. And even those are difficult to sanction because you need a level 2 judge, and we've only got a few high-level judges in the country.
The World Magic Cup is very important to South African players, and the reason would be we sort of, as a community, feel like we need to put ourselves on the map, especially for Wizards of the Coast, especially now that the PDQ system has changed to the PPDQs, and the only way for players to enter onto the Pro Tour would be to travel overseas outside of our continent to play in Grand Prix, and the World Magic Cup doing well, getting enough pro points to enter the Pro Tour or Magic Online, which is all very difficult and very costly. So we feel that if we could maybe put ourselves on the map, maybe we could be like, hey, South Africa actually has a chance, we actually matter, maybe we can actually compete at the Pro Tour,